Hey, nice to meet you. Today we'll be talking about philosophy.
Yes, I'd like to discuss with you more broadly. What is philosophy?
All right, this is going to be a great conversation.
Let's get into it. So, why is philosophy discussed? There has to be a starting point from which philosophy is defined and categorized. What does the general public define philosophy is, and is that right?
When philosophy is talked about in the general public, the main idea is to conclude that philosophy is just thinking. A lot of people see philosophy as a waste of time, or that it's just something for people that feel like they have a lack of purpose and they want to go find purpose in their life. These thoughts about philosophy, although in some ways are maybe true, are not really what philosophy is. What I've come to learn is that philosophy is asking the important questions.
Okay, so for instance, what questions do you deem important when it comes to defining what philosophy is?
So some of the questions that philosophy addresses are questions about what is beautiful, what is truth, what is the difference between good and evil, and how can we know such things? These are some of the questions that philosophy tries to answer.
Yes, indeed, these are important questions, but why are they important? Why do we just not live and go about our lives without having to spend time thinking about everything that we do, and why we're here and how we were created?
Well, one of the big reasons why we as humans need to be asking these questions is because we have been given consciousness, something that no other being has. We need to live our lives as if we are fulfilling in a fulfilling way. In order to do that, we need to be asking these questions. One philosopher once put it that a life without philosophy is a life that's not worth living. He was just saying that a life not asking questions and without a meaning to our life is not worth living. There is no purpose to live a life in which we have no goals or we are not asking questions. Why would we live this life without asking questions and without having any purpose or meaning?
Now that we have some ground on why we should study philosophy, we still don't have a clear answer to what philosophy is. You explained that it's asking questions, but how can we even know what questions to ask? And how can we know things at all if we don't know where they come from or where they're going?
To answer some of these questions, we have the thinkers of the past. The first one is Heraclitus, who believes in the constant change and that there's a flux of constant change and everything is changing. All matter is moving and changing. But the problem is, if everything is changing and even our bodies are changing, then we can't really know anything. Then Parmenides came along, and instead of something cannot come from nothing, he gave us the example of an infinite number of steps and how we can't move because change is an illusion and that everything is one being. Then we have Plato, who is another thinker. He gets us the fact that there are two realms, one of constant change, which is our senses, and the other of the realm of idea. In this, the idea realm, there is nothing that is changing.
Can you explain what you mean by the realm of the idea and how that doesn't change over time?
So when we think about the realm of the idea, let's think about the idea of a tree and how the idea of a tree is never going to change and what we see as a tree might. There are many different types of trees that all look very different. And even though they all look different, when we see one that looks different from another, we can still say that is a tree because we have certain characteristics or ideas in our mind of what a tree is. So that explains the realm of ideas and how that does not change. But the realm of what we see or experience as a tree might.
Yes, I do. Now lastly, I want a clear definition of what philosophy is and what it means for your life.
So in the end, what philosophy is trying to live your life asking the questions to figure out the truth. In my mind, when I think about what philosophy is, it's living a life where you try to live a life looking for truth in all of the things that you do. But many people think that they can have their own truth. This is one of the problems of philosophy. What philosophy does is it helps us ask the questions we can to figure out the truth. And it's not that we most definitely will find the truth, but it's on our journey asking the questions to find out what truth is. That is the definition of philosophy. Philosophy is asking the questions and giving us that certain lens, the lens of philosophy, a lens asking questions to find the truth. So what philosophy means for my life, and I think it should mean for everybody's lives, is to spread that we can't go through life not thinking about why we are here and what is our purpose. I want to end with a thought from an old thinker that said, life without philosophy is a life that's not worth living. I mentioned this before, and I definitely believe this, and I think that we should always strive to find the truth.
Well, it was great meeting with you. Hope that we can meet up some other time, and I can talk to you more about philosophy and your journey through life.
You too. Till we meet again. Cheers.